Welcome to Delta Campus Studios interview series. I'm your host, Billie Dalton, and we have a wonderful and special guest today, our first veteran of the day and our very own Delta's Band of Veterans Club, Mrs. Kristal Sanders. Thanks for being with us today.
Hi, Billie. Thank you.
Please share to Delta your story of military life and how the transition to civilian affected you.
Yeah, so I'm an Air Force veteran, and when I signed up for the military, my recruiter suggested that I sign an open general. I had expressed interest in the medical field, and he said that was going to be the best way to go. So I was pretty surprised when I got to basic training and they were handing out jobs, and my job was Morse code operator.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was a little bit confused how that correlated into the medical field, since I'd seen my grandfather. He was retired from the Navy, and I would see him in his den tapping out messages to his buddies and, you know, chuckling a little bit. So, yeah, I was just really surprised that Morse code was still being used.
Yeah, I would be too.
Yeah. Turns out I was pretty good at it, and I was awarded top in my class. Unfortunately, I was injured on base, and I ruptured both of my eardrums. I do have some hearing loss in regard to that, but they've, you know, I'm doing okay. After a brief medical hold, I was discharged honorably and medically from the Air Force and went on to work in retail management. Sorry.
Okay. You're doing fine.
Okay. You know, I worked with some high-end retailers out all over the country. I worked in Las Vegas. I worked in Sacramento, San Diego. Got to travel all around. Really enjoyed that, and did travel abroad a number of times. Went to Sweden, Australia, Scotland, London. You know, so I would say that transition from military into civilian, you know, there was a little bit of herky-jerkiness there, you know, not knowing, you know, what to do with myself initially.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, eventually I did find my path.
Oh, good. You're a graduate from Delta College. Please share with our viewers your feelings on that and how Delta has affected you, as well as learning here, and how it impacted your life.
Yeah. So after about 6 years of working in medical administration, COVID hit. And I think I can speak for a lot of people that you know, things felt very chaotic and uncertain. I wanted to do something more, mm-hmm. and I did have a lot of interest in medical administration, so I researched some colleges, mm-hmm. SVSU, Delta, and Delta had just really had the programs that I was most interested in. Also, the thought of going to a university terrified me. You know, I'm an adult, and you know, being around all these kids that are straight out of high school, you know, with that mindset going into it, I wasn't quite there yet, and so there was a lot of self-convincing going on. But Delta just, you know, I qualified for the VRNE program, mm-hmm. which is, you know, really important for, you know, any veteran, whether they're just fresh out of the military or years out. It's a great program, and the veteran staff here at Delta just made that part of it feel seamless. You know, I didn't have to worry about, you know, getting funding for the next semester, or, you know, getting those books paid for. They made sure that I had everything I needed, and all I had to do was focus on my studies.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
You're a coordinator at Bay Veterans Foundation in Bay City. Please share with our viewers your experiences and what you do there.
Yeah. I have been honored to be the Women Veteran Outreach Coordinator with Bay Veterans Foundation. It's on Madison in Bay City. And I am working to build a network of women veterans. There are over 1,700 female veterans in our Tri-City areas, and I would like to meet as many of those ladies as I possibly can and create some camaraderie and community with my fellow women. We've had different experiences in the military than men have. And I think it's important to really create some community in that sense. The Bay Veterans Foundation is an incredible facility. It's a nonprofit, and they have that same vision, helping veterans help themselves. There's a woodworking shop. We do woodworking classes. There's a metalsmith shop. We have guitar classes. And I know that you have a lot of interest in creating a lot of fellowship in that. I think there's a lot to be said with those activities as a therapy for our veterans to get through some things like PTSD and be able to talk to each other.
That's for sure. I know I share some similar experiences dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder for my time serving in the military. But it's something that was hard to overcome, and I'm still having my moments about it. But that's our show today. Kristal Sanders of Bay Veterans Foundation, sorry. Our first Delta Band of Veterans Club. We thank you very much. And this has been a Delta Studios interview series, and I'm your host, Billie Dalton. Thank you so much.
Thank you.